Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? Well, today did not turn out like the previous 3 days. I had a good opportunity at the open on one of the stocks on my watch list, but I was watching another that I thought was going to set up first and ended up missing the entry on it. So instead of chasing it, I let it go. But we're going to look at all that here in a minute. But the point I want to share with you guys today is, this is kind of based on me being a teacher. I'm probably one of the only licensed teachers that actually have classroom experience that's teaching in this industry. And in a sense, that's probably my downfall, because one of the biggest fears that teachers have is sending students out into the world unprepared. And our name is attached to them. And so it's the same thing I brought over into this trading, is I can't sugarcoat anything. I have to tell you what it's like. I have to give you the whole uncut truth about this industry and what it takes to get there. So, and in some cases, students get mad at me. As a teacher in the classroom, I rarely made students happy in terms of what I had them do. But it wasn't the fact that I was trying to make them like me. I was trying to make sure that they got what they needed in order to be successful. And that's the same thing I do here in trading. So I would rather you get mad at me now for being honest and upfront with you and telling you how it really is and whether what you're doing is going to cut it or not, versus, and help you get better, versus lie to you, make you feel good, try to keep you hanging on and spending more money, and then you just get worse and worse. You end up more lost than you were when you started. I don't want that. Like I said, for a teacher, that's their biggest fear, is to send somebody out. They're out of their classroom and they aren't prepared and they end up failing. It makes me feel just as bad. I feel just as bad. So, I want you guys to understand and to know it's not about, I'm not going to tell you things to try to make you feel good. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And yeah, I've had a lot of traders that I mentored who we just didn't mesh because they wanted to tell me what they thought and that they thought they should be doing, versus listening to what I've done. And I'm the one that's been through it all. I've sat in bankruptcy court before. I've been through everything. And I know what it takes to get out of this. I know what it takes to start taking control and, making it happen for you. This market is a source of unlimited wealth. You can make as much money as your heart desires, but you gotta get what you need. You gotta build that foundation, and it takes time. It's a process, and you just continue to work towards it. That's what it's all about. So, I don't mind you getting mad at me because of what I have to tell you. I don't mind you disliking my videos because you don't want to hear what I've got to say. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm putting out the truth, I'm going to sleep at night. All right, so that's enough ranting for today. Let's take a look at the market here. Another rest day today. We actually, the Bears came for bull today. That's exactly what happened. The Bears came for bull today, but then toward the end of the day, the Bulls turned the table, and they came for bear. If you look at the bottom wick on this tells me that the Bears were in charge early, and then the Bulls came in and closed this thing out on a strong note. Now, whether they're going to carry this into tomorrow remains to be seen. But we did sell through the 5-day, but we did come back up. I don't think we claimed it quite yet, but I do think we do have a potential to continue to push up, just like what happened here. If we do get another down day, we've got the 20-day support here right before we get to the bottom of this channel that we've been trading in since way back last year. Might have been October, September that this thing that it traded in this channel. And it's an ascending channel, but it hasn't really broken out. And we're looking for it to trade to the top of this channel here, up through 140. I mean, not 140, up through 440. But we just have to wait and see how it opens tomorrow, who's going to be in charge tomorrow, and where we're going to take this. That's kind of what we're looking for here. So right now, I can tell you the Bears were in charge early. The Bulls came storming back, and they closed this thing with some momentum. All right, so today, this is the stock. TSM, this was the one that I missed. Here's the candle prior to the open. Here's the pre-market low. So once we took out the pre-market low, that was where I was supposed to enter. I was actually watching BA. I'm thinking that BA was going to break and give me an opportunity, but it didn't. So I had to wait for this to put in a opening range low. So here's the 100-day moving average. Here's the 20-day moving average. The 50-day was down here around 116.55 or 58 this morning. It did creep up and come up to like 116. It was at 116.58. It came up to like 116.63 or something like that it came up to. But that was going to be my target. Once we lost the 100-day and we got below the 5-minute opening range low, I took it. That was the trigger. And even if it got down to 116.70, this would have been a good place to take profit. I could have at least took a base hit on this. But it started working really good. And then 117, it got almost to 117. I think it hit 117.17 or something. And it just aggressively got bought back up. I mean, it was ripping. So once we got back over the 100-day, I had my stop just above the 100-day, and it stopped me out. And you can see it wouldn't have made any sense to hold us all the way through there. So we pulled back, bounced, could not get through the lows here. We rejected VWAP and the 20-day right here and the 20-period moving average. Rejected all of this. So once we came down and got through this again, I entered. Now, I could have waited for confirmation. Had I waited for confirmation, my entry wouldn't have been until we got over here. But because we rejected here, I kind of felt that we were going to sell off. But today was not that day. It bounced, but it didn't take me, technically, it didn't break this trade. and it worked its way down. Eventually, I was able to take some off at my first target. It was going to be down here, but because it took so long, I'm like, if it hit 117, I'm going to take 2/3 off. And that's what I did. Turned out to be the right move, because it never did get down below or established below 117, and came back, and I ended up stopping out because we were claiming the 9, claiming the 20, and it was just making a run up. And so, this is where reading the price action is paramount. And this is why I say over and over and over again, your number one indicator is going to be your eyes. The indicator is your eyes. All of this other stuff doesn't matter. With your eyes, you can see when a stock hits resistance. Whether you have a moving average there or a daily level, doesn't matter. Your eyes will be able to tell you, hey, we're hitting resistance, or hey, we're hitting support. So your eyes are key. But that was TSM. Airbnb, this was the one that I took early. Here's the 5-minute opening range low, but then here is the pre-market low. If we don't have enough room in between this and I'm doing a 5-minute opening range trade, I'll wait until we take out the pre-market low. But this was my fault. Okay, I knew 137 was a daily level. I assumed that this would just be token resistance and we would get at least the 136.50. That's where I had my first target, 136.50. It did not. Obviously, this 137 held. I probably should have taken it off when it was holding, but I just let it run to my stop. This was the first trade out of the gate. I was really kind of testing the market, and I can't blame the strategy. I can't blame the setup. I'm the one that shorted into this support. I'm the one that assumed this would be token support, and it wasn't. So this bad trade, this loss is all on me. Has nothing to do with the market, but everything to do with my decision making here. So a little bit too aggressive in a market that just wasn't there. So maybe this was just and it may have been a reaction to missing this TSM. Maybe this was that reaction, because this was the first trade I took. This was the second and the third trade I took. The last trade I took, I decided that I wanted to test out my tried and true earning strategy. Everything lined up for AA. And all of the research that I do, everything pointed to a gap up. And I knew this stock wouldn't gap up a lot, but I figured it would at least get to 38. It reported, it put in this crazy ass candle, and it traded inside of it, and I'm still in it. I'm still waiting to see if this thing is gonna catch and go. I'm still, a little green on it, but if I have to, I'll hold it overnight to see if we get a gap in the morning. But the issue with this is everything, and what's frustrating to me is everything that I dug up pointed to a gap up. Everything, the way it traded today, all of the research and data that I had, it blew out the earnings per share. It blew out revenue. It had good guidance, but the stock did not go. So, and it doesn't have to. But it would have been nice if the first trade out of the gate on earnings season would have, gone in my favor. But it doesn't have to. Just because all the stars are in alignment doesn't mean the stock has to move in the direction that you want it to. And so it didn't. And still holding on. So I don't have a total for you today. I'm thinking I'm still a little red because I might have broke even or been a little bit green on TSM, but Airbnb is the trade I think that caused the red. So even though it was only like 60 cents or so, that's $180. So probably, down a little bit over $100. But if this trade works out, I'll end up green. Or I should end up green if it works out. If not, this is low risk. As I was saying in chat, if you were in chat still, I know a lot of people had left. You saw me take this trade and you heard my thoughts on it. I took it very low risk because this isn't a huge gapper. So it was a good shot. It just didn't work out. So, that was that. That was today. So we're going to hit the reset button, come back tomorrow, see if we can close out the week strong. Again, remember, you don't have to take a trade. I may be a little bit more focused, have a more narrow focus tomorrow, and really try to nail the open, and then kind of move from there. That's going to be my goal. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.